So what's going on, guys? My name is MrDalekJD, and in this video we're going to be going over a secret, a mystery within the Black Ops Zombies saga, specifically Black Ops 2 Zombies and Nuketown Zombies. Probably one of the most sort of neglected maps in Black Ops 2. When you think of all the maps that you can play in Zombies in Black Ops 2, you kind of forget about Nuketown, and this one actually holds the most mystery, and it's not actually within the map itself, it's within the loading screen, and that's something we're going to be talking about. Now, if you are unaware, the Call of Duty Zombies comic is very soon coming to physical copies in stores, but it's already available on iTunes as an electronic version where you can download it onto your Mac, your iPhone, your iPad. So the comic is now available, and I made a video generalizing the story of that. There is some spoilers in there, so if you do want to go and see that, if you don't want to buy the comic, you want to go and just get a general overview and breakdown of the story, that'll be linked down below. But it's at the final page of that comic where we have a brand new loading screen for Nuketown Zombies, and it's a variation of what we had previously, and we're going to go ahead and break it down, show you guys all the changes and what's new and different, and see if we can work out what's going on here. If you guys do enjoy this video and you want to see more awesome crazy videos like this, be sure to hit that like button so it can gauge your interest and see if you guys are interested in going back and looking at all these crazy mysteries that were never solved. What you're seeing on your screen right now is the original Nuketown loading screen. This is what it looked like, and it's pretty much in the same stylized comic as it originally was in Black Ops 1 Zombies, which is amazing to see, of course. And there is a lot of differences from this one to the brand new one, which you can now see on screen. Now, you may not notice a huge difference first of all, but when we get into these, there is a lot of subtle differences, and I want you guys to discuss in the comments about what these differences could mean. Now, this is going to be a little bit of a long one, but bear with me, trust me, this is going to be very interesting, full of information, and stuff that's going to blow your mind. So we need to look back at what the actual description for Nuketown Zombies was, because when you look at this and then you look at the map itself, we don't see any real correlation or things that link in with this. So this is why this loading screen has been such a mystery for all these years. Even people have questioned Jason about it during the Black Ops 3 zombie cycle, and he wouldn't answer either. So he pretty much didn't want to answer because we were going to get a sort of continuation of it within the comics. So for those that have never played it and have no idea what Nuketown Zombies is, it's set during the events of Moon and after the end of the multiplayer level from the original Black Ops game. A group of radiation scientists are investigating the Nuketown remains and discover soldiers that have been revived by Element 115 from a nearby Nevada base. The zombie soldiers attack the radiation scientists and turn them, and after receiving a distress signal, the base in Nevada sends in CIA and CDC agents to investigate. Upon arrival in Nuketown, the agents lose communication with Hangar 18 and become stranded, setting the stage for Nuketown Zombies. And one of the main things you notice straight away in the old loading screen is this massive drill, which is emitting some sort of electrical energy, and it seemed to be drilling into a crater. Of course, this loading screen was ripe and hugely debated back during Black Ops 2 Zombies, and it was during that time that Pinaz on the CallOfDutyZombies.com website pinpointed this to be the Sedan crater in Nevada. Back during Black Ops 2, Treyarch used to use a lot of things in real life and heavily influence that on the story, and this is the only part of Nevada that is covered with nuclear blast crates, and in the loading screen for Nuketown, this map is set in Nevada, USA. In the original image, you see the drill up close in both the left and the right, but in this brand new one, you can see two soldiers with binoculars watching from a distance in what appears to be some sort of aircraft watching this drill emitting all this energy, and we can see a lot more going on in the image than we previously could. Like on the left, for instance, with this zoomed out image where we can see the pilots looking at the Nuketown crater, we can see that there's a huge crevice there which is separating the rock and the actual land, which we could never see in the original, which is an amazing touch. And we can also see the huge sort of circular device that is housing this drill in the first place. Now, to this day, we still don't know exactly what's going on in this loading screen, but the small mini description for Nuketown is mass energy equivalence, secret tests, crash landing perks, survive in the iconic Nuketown where the past and the future come together. And that bio was written all the way back in 2012, and I'm sure that even now there is some deeper meaning with that involved in our story that we've got going on with the Zombies comic. Looking at this in 2016, I feel like there is this drill being used to withdraw the radioactive energy from this Sedan crater. Why? I have absolutely no idea. Are the pilots involved with this? Potentially, but there's also a good chance that they aren't, and they're simply witnessing this from a far distance. It's only been until our new loading screen that we can really see what the device is that's connected to the drill, and honestly, it looks a little bit like a UFO. We've seen UFOs before in Call of Duty Zombies, specifically in Black Ops 1 Zombies, and this is a particular area in Nevada near Area 51 where the most UFO sightings in the US happen. Now, it's very unplausible for the UFO, but it would make sense if we track all the way back from Black Ops 1 days, as UFOs have been used. Now, there is a group involved within Zombies. We had the slight suspicion they could be reintroduced back into Black Ops 3 Zombies. We didn't quite see it happen, but there is another group besides Group 935, and that is Group 601. This is a group that were teased all the way back in Black Ops 2 Zombies within the in-game files. There was this small texture of a poster here. We can see the Group 935 logo, but instead it has Group 601, and written in German it says Stage 2, and then it says Strength Through Order, and then above that NZR Nazi Zombie Radio, and we have this like mountain which almost looks like a crater, you could say, but a mountain with a puff of smoke which looks similar to something we'd see on Nuketown, and two radio beacons next to it on the left and right, and that's something which we saw a heavy premise on during the Transit Crew storyline throughout Black Ops 2 Zombies, where there was the Maxis and Richtof inside which we could follow throughout the story. And with the idea of the two radio beacons in the image, it relates also back to the idea of a official group called HARP, which were hinted all the way back in World at War Shinonuma. Now, this research program HARP was a descendant of Tesla's ideas on the true wireless, which would make a ton of sense with those radioactive beacons in the background emitting those radio waves. But then we also have to look at the energy that's coming out of this drill as well. The energy in this looks a little bit different to how it originally did in Black Ops 2's loading screen. Speaking of Tesla, as that was one of the ideas for the truly wireless, he also invented the Death Ray, which is an image we saw back in Doris on some of the boards around the map for a trap or supposed weapon that we never saw. Could also be related to that. Let me know what you think down below in the comment section. Now, something else to point out as well real quick. In the original image, if you look in the middle where the two pages meet, there are some staple marks which look like these were once stapled into a book, or the staples have been pulled out. In this new image, the staples are gone. And that made me think this was part of a brand new excerpt of comic book images, but if we look on the left in both of them, we can see the exact same sort of like indents and cuts in the page beforehand, so this definitely is the same book, but there is just simply a difference there with the staple missing. Also on the right page, the creases and slight cuts on the top are different as well as the bottom. Almost like as if the comic book that once had this has had its pages replaced, but the pages before it are exactly the same. Something also to note as well is the bubble gum in the bottom left. We saw this before. It's a brand new opened bar of gum, and in this new image, half of it has been chomped away, and you can see underneath another new comic book style wrapper underneath, which could be a comic that was included with the bubblegum. I don't know why, but I really recognize this cartoon face, but I can't for the life of me work it out. If you guys can, please let me know. It's only in Black Ops 3 Zombies that we've been introduced to Dr. Monty and his different confectionery items such as gobblgums and chocolate, as well as the perks. Unfortunately, I don't think this bubblegum wrapper is in any way related to Dr. Monty, because we see the words Utley, and this word in full is actually Mixtlantecuhtli, which is a character in the Aztec mythology, which is the god of the undead and the king of the underworld, and he's the equivalent to Lucifer. Now, a lot of people back during Mob of the Dead thought that this was the creature that was controlling the realm of our characters, and he very well could have done, or it could have been the Shadow Man. It's still very, very vague even to this day. You can tell it's clearly him. We have that little cartoony image, and it matches up with what the statue looks like in real life, but in this brand new image, half of the bubblegum has been munched on. Significance of that, I have no real idea, but it's almost like someone's come across this and was like, hang on a moment, let me just change and put a newly updated comic book in, and let me just have a munch of that bubblegum that was lying around. If you look over to the brand new loading screen on the bottom right, we originally saw a very small image of this on what appeared to be the wing of a jet plane, but we get this new image where it's more zoomed out, and to me it still could be, but it looks less like the shape of a wing and more like an aircraft or some sort of device that we've never seen before. The reasons why I say that is because in the original image, on the edge of the wing, you can see these two triangular shapes which look like little mini wings, but in this brand new extended image you don't see those at all. Maybe because they're out of shot and this is a much bigger zoomed in version and you just don't see them in this image, but to me it looks a lot more like some sort of UFO shaped aircraft rather than a simple plane. Whilst we're looking towards the bottom right of this image, let's also look at the jet fighter pilot we see in the original. It's really zoomed in and you can see what appears to be a nuclear cloud in his mask, like reflecting back, and it's really hard to see that detail again in this brand new one, only because in the comic book the image is a little bit low quality, so we don't have the highest amount of detail to be able to look into everything, but you do get to see a little bit more, and you see that he is also in some sort of aircraft looking over. You can tell he's quite close to the drill itself because you can see all the atmospheric stuff going on in the background, all these like black floating atoms it almost looks like towards him. There is the good chance that he is in the aircraft we see in the image next to him. It's still unclear if that is the case, but you can clearly tell he's by the crater of all the energy that's going on in the background and the black atoms, which we could see in both the new and the original, but he has a bunch of technology in front of him in the screen, so we can assume he is in the aircraft on the right, or potentially with the pilots in the left with the binoculars. One of the weirdest things about this loading screen is the little skeleton guy in the bottom left. In the original you can see him quite easily there, but in this new one he's really small. Thinking realistically and going along the lines of this being the Sedan crater, after the nuclear test there in the 1970s, it provided great terrain and very similar properties to craters that you'd find on the moon, so it aided as great training grounds for astronauts. This could also have a reference to our little friend MrDalekJD, which we saw in the Gobblegum wrapper, as he has his hands in a very similar position with his ribcage showing, just like in this image here. And last but definitely not least, another difference is in the original image, the position of the bubblegum was in such a way that it covered over a little bit of the scrap paper on the left, but in this brand new image you can see some dots on the bottom. And if we take a look at the brand new moon loading screen that we got a year ago now, you can see those exact same dots around the free catalog 1000 novelty section of that, and in the original moon that was originally cut out. We can now confirm that this Nuketown loading screen is part of a sort of alternate history or alternate universe into the way that actions happened in the original timeline. They're doing it where things are happening ever so slightly different. We have that new moon loading screen where the astronauts are coming towards us rather than going away from us, as well as a ton of other differences as well. What's exciting about that is in the moon loading screen, the brand new one, you can see another comic book cut out scrap from behind it, which means probably in the next comic issue, which will be in December, we'll probably get this loading screen, and what it's for we have no idea. This is backtracking our way through the story, so this could potentially be where we'll see a new Shangri-La loading screen. We have no idea. I'm really excited that If Truck are going to continue it on this way. They're going to have different comic book loading screens showing a alternate universe where things happen slightly different, and we'll soon realize why. And now it makes sense why we got that moon loading screen a year ago. If you're still hearing me, then you've obviously made it to the end of the video, and I really appreciate that. Be sure to give yourself a pat on the back, and if you haven't already, before you leave, be sure to drop a like rating if you enjoyed and found this informative. I want to give a huge shout out to Mixmaster Nut for providing most of the information you heard within this video. You can check out all of his social links down below in the description. But thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed and you want to see more content like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you next time.